Yes, and we're back. The gaffer's back, Alan. I'm hosting once again. Welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. My name is Ryan Clifford, and for some of you, I'll probably ask, where's JP? JP's currently on holiday, getting a well-deserved break. I've had my break, so JP's off his holidays with the good lady in the family. So I'm hosting tonight. People probably saying, "Oh, that's no good with that JP back," but I'm back, and it's myself, Ryan, and Alan. Well, Alan, good to have you back on, mate. I know you were out the weekend, mate, so hope you're feeling good. Glad to have you on for the Monday Huddle, mate. Hope you're feeling well.
Fantastic. JP's away skiving, but fair play to him, have a good holiday. But I looking forward to get right on about it.
Obviously, we're chatting before we come on, mate, and there's quite a lot to talk about for the weekend. Obviously, good performance for us. Obviously, other teams try to obviously challenges, no doing well. So transfers in and out, what's going to happen? There's loads of things I think popping up, mate. Now I think in the next 10 days or so to 14 days, I think you'll see a lot of things happening. Guys coming out, guys coming in, wee tweaks here and there. But overall, Aaron, from the weekend, what was your initial thoughts after the game? And obviously, good to get the 3 points.
I know it was good. Obviously, us winning, then we're nearest challengers. They picked up a point, Aberdeen, so couple of points ahead of them. So, but I know wasn't perfect, but Brendan's coming in. There's going to be a change in tactics, change in play, so it's going to take a wee bit of time for players to get used to that. So hopefully, performance wasn't as great as it's been in the last year or two, but hopefully that's just kind of uh, stepping into the new tactics and uh, formation whatsoever, and hopefully we can move on from there and start picking up a wee bit more.
I think, like you say, mate, obviously, first game of the season, you do want a good performance and you do obviously want the victory. I think the victory is always most important. No every game at the start of the season is comfortable. It's not always amazing. It's just, like you say, a lot of players come in, try to adjust to the new manager, etc. And some guys make their debuts, etc. So, all in all, when you take away the start of the season, the euphoria at the start of the season, I think it's just vital, Alan, we got the 3 points in me. And let's be fair, that was quite emphatic overall.
Aye, 3 points on the board, 4 goals scored, a couple of decent goals in there as well. A lot of good passages of play, some not so much, but it's overall positive result, mostly positive performance. But as I say, the way we've been playing recently, I think the more time that Brendan's got to the players, the more players he can bring in. I can see the performances kind of kick on for there. But 3 points on the board, happy days. Keep going at that. We've got a half game next week away to Aberdeen, so uh, hopefully another week the training pitch we can kind of progress the way that Brendan's want to play, and the players can kind of adapt to that style of formation or tactics.
I think definitely, mate, another week on the training field, another week with the manager.
Yeah.
Because let's be fair, Aberdeen have strengthened. So I think it will be a tough game. Obviously, they have got a European camp game coming up as well. So their players are obviously wanting to try and fight for the jersey for the European side as well. But I've got a few comments, mate, on the comments. Ange says, "Evening, folks. Hope everybody's well. Ange, hope you're well." Another comment from Jerry. "Hope you're well, Jerry." Jerry says, "Evening all. Evening, Jerry." And we've got another comment from the YouTube, I think it is, and it's "Evening all, chilling to my favourite podcast." Well, thanks a lot for tuning in on Monday night. Appreciate that. And Joseph, another regular as well. Hail, hail, Alan and Ryan. Hail, hail, Joseph. Hope you're well, mate. And another one from Plunge from the YouTube. Plunge says, "All right, boys, good one. Not our best. Need players in soon. Like look of Doyle and McAteer." Well, we could kind of start on that, Alan. Plunge says, obviously, We did mention, obviously, we could go to Joe Hart. It's been a topic of conversation over the weekend. It's probably been a topic, mate, over pre-season. Is he going to be the guy by number one? Do we need better? Do we need to kind of get an upgrade in Joe Hart? What's your opinions on the goalkeeper situation, Aaron? And do you think that's a position that maybe out the rest of the squad, it's maybe a priority?
Joe Hart, we carry down him for the last couple of years. How much he's contributed to the squad. Not even kind of performances. He's a voice in the dressing room as well. Always been like an ideal person in the team in the dressing room. But if we're all being honest with ourselves, alarm bells are ringing now. But we can't ignore this anymore. But through pre-season, there's been a few mistakes, and even 5 minutes into the game, everybody's seen at the weekend there. Everybody in the parks absolutely kind of heart in their hands kind of thing, heart in the mouth. And I think we need to address this position before we get in and play kind of bigger teams in the Champions League as well. Or even the other side of the city, because it's just mistake after mistake at present. We can't kind of deny how important Joe Hart's been previously, but it's time to kind of make an improvement there because, as I say, alarm bells are seriously ringing now.
Aye, like you says, we've said on previous pods, mate, we've said kind of last season as well that when Joe Hart came into Celtic, it was a time where we needed a number one, a settled head, experience, leadership, and he's brought that to us. But like anything in football, and yourself, Alan, you've watched football for so long, mate, that you kind of need to improve all the time. You can't stay still, and you always need to upgrade when you can. And I think now that I think Joe Hart's okay for Scotland, but I think if we want to progress, because in my opinion, Alan, I think the league takes care of itself. I don't think we need to worry about the league because I think that if I've always says, mate, if Celtic turn up, I know it's early days in the season, but if Celtic turn up to the away game, every other team has to go up 2 or 3 or 4 levels to beat Celtic, in my opinion, through a full season. But I think for the European side, Aaron, I do feel, don't know what you feel, mate, but I think the European side, I think we've seen it last year, the games at Leipzig and some other games where he was making kind of mistakes or wee things that were kind of no ideal in games. And I think it does put you in a back foot in Europe.
I'd slightly say about the Scottish League. See if it comes next week and we're playing Aberdeen. Like, against Ross County, we're 3-0 up at home. But if we're 1-0 up at Pittodrie and Joe Hart makes that kind of mistake that the goal goes in, then it's a different scenario altogether. That brings the opposite side right back into the game because of an unnecessary mistake. Uh, this is just something that needs to be eradicated from our team. And throughout the pre-season, I've not seen anything for Seacrest or Bain that would make me suspect that they could come in and make that number one spot their own. I think there needs to be a goalkeeper recruited as soon as, because, as I say, we're going to get to the stage that we say to each other, we've seen that happening, and mistakes are going to continue to happen. It's just after that performance against Ross County, I'm seriously worried about us going forward unless we bring in a relatively good goalkeeper that can replace Hart, Seacrest, Bain, because it's obviously it's standing out for us, for everybody to see that it is it's a spot in the team that alarm bells are ringing. I'm saying that, but it is. You're seeing these mistakes through pre-season. And you can forgive things like that, but the first game of the season when there's a couple of big mistakes like that, then you're going, this has to be remedied as soon as possible.
Aye, I think as well, before their first goal as well, in the first few minutes actually, he made a bit of mistake. He was trying to chase the ball when it's things like that. Aye, it's things like that I feel, mate, that are going to cost us. Because if that's a better team or a better striker or a high intensity team, they're going to punish you. And like you say, in the big games, you might get away with them against your St Mirren's at home with your Ross Counties, but in the bigger games in Europe, 9 times out of 10, I would say, mate, these better teams finish you off with stuff like that. So I'm agreeing with you. I do feel that we need to progress with a better number 1, and I'm fine with Joe Hart being number 2. Personally, I don't think I know Scott Bain's good with his feet, but he's not the best with his hands. And Siegrist doesn't look like Rodgers fancies him either. So because he wasn't on the bench at the weekend there, so I think as well if I'm Siegrist, and again it's no down in Scott Bain. It's just if Scott Bain's getting a game over you or in the second choice, then I think you'd maybe need to look at Pastors new, because if you can't get a game in a guy who's been the third choice for the last 2 to 3 years, then when are you going to play? So I think this is the pre-season and last season was probably the time where Siegrist was to prove himself. We all know how good he was for United, but you know yourself, Alan, that mob across the water, they seen it with John Souttar. The step up for playing for Hearts or Hibs, whatever, and then come to Celtic. In my opinion, mate, it's a big step up. So Siegrist was good for United, mate, but I don't think he's going to cut the mustard here, if I'm being honest with you.
No, I definitely agree, because I think, as I said earlier, I think the opportunities that Siegrist got during pre-season, he didn't exactly cover his own glory. There was a few goals that went behind him that I think that he should have done a lot better with. And if you want to push that number 1 spot, then you'll get the opportunity during pre-season. Then you'll need to kind of take your chance, and there shouldn't be any mistakes at all. But he's not exactly covered his own glory. So I think the end of last year, I wouldn't have said that goalkeeper was the number 1 priority, but the football we've watched and the performances we've watched from the goalkeepers that we've got at the minute through pre-season and that first game there, I would put that number 1 on the priority list now.
I would say so, mate, personally. I do feel that it's the European side I'm more hyped about, Alan, than the league side. I think the European side, I think the goalkeeping situation has to be monitored. I know, in my opinion, if you're going to replace Joe Hart, I think you won't need to spend money. But I think maybe it's the time, Alan, that we go out and actually spend a bit of money on number 1, because guys like your Fosters, your Boriches, etc., you don't really get any. I know we got Foster on loan and we signed him, but you don't really get, I would say, top draw goalkeepers these days, and kind of basement bargain money. I think you need to go out and maybe spend a bit of money. So, in my opinion, mate, I think this is a time where we've got the power, financial power to do it. We're not going to beat out of pocket if we do go and spend £7 and £8 million. If it is the goalkeeper for Croatia or a goalkeeper at Alk, I think, me personally, Aaron, I think it will put a statement out. It will give the fans a good bit of kind of leeway as well. No leeway, a kind of jump in terms of how we're feeling about the goalkeeping situation, and it might engage Joe Hart a bit of a boost to go and push himself a bit more, because he is getting older. There is only so long a goalkeeper at that age you can push and improve. But it could give him a bit of a last year. Right, I want to play. I don't want to sit on the bench at Celtic. So for me, mate, I think maybe going out and spending £70 million and a good top draw goalkeeper, I think it's something we might need to look at.
I would be shocked if we signed Livakovic, for the one reason he's a fantastic goalkeeper, right, top level, that I think goalkeeper in the World Cup. But Celtic's trading model, usually when we spend that type of money, that level of finance on a player, it's been Edward that's early 20s. It's been Jota and Carter Vickers that's slightly similar age. So that they've got a sell-on value. I'm not sure if I'm completely right, but Livakovic is 28, 29. And for us to spend that kind of money, that you wouldn't be relying on us to bring him in, improve him, and then move him on. That's somebody that if he spends the next 2-3 years here, he's going into his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see it happen, because obviously the guy is a top quality goalkeeper. But for Celtic to go away for the the players that we have been buying at that top level, because we can get a sell on them, I would be surprised if we shelled out that kind of cash for somebody that age. But
Aye,
here's what
aye. No, I'm like you, mate. I would love it, because I think we're maybe due to sign somebody like an Edward type signing, a value, shall I say, a value fee in terms of paying a bit of money. But I think they'll only do it if it fits the model. So maybe you're looking at a 26-year-old goalkeeper, 27, maybe stay for 2 years, move him on. But I think the goalkeeper situation, I think it's something that might get looked upon. Maybe the last few weeks of the window, maybe the last week or so, because I think now it's maybe concentrating on Aberdeen, and then they've got the cup game. I think maybe before the game against them, I think you're maybe going to be settled with the squad. Obviously, that's the window will be away by then. I think that's when we'll probably see the Celtic squad kind of moving forward and kind of amalgamating, basically being the end squad to January at least. But obviously as well, anybody who is just watching the podcast or just new to the podcast, we are sponsored by AB Entertainment. He's actually not commented yet. He's normally commented Alex Beveridge of AB Entertainment. If anybody is interested in karaoke's, bingo karaoke, DJing, entertainment, Alex Beveridge is your man. That's his number on the screen. AB Entertainment. Alex is a fantastic guy. Every night he's done, I've seen myself. He's got amazing reviews. If you go and check his reviews, he's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all your social media platforms, and he's easy to get a hold of on his mobile, that mobile number on the screen. Alex is a fantastic guy, Alan. Like I said, mate, he's a Celtic fan, and we're really privileged to have him sponsoring the podcast. He's normally commenting, but he must be busy DJing. He's always a busy man, but we're really thankful and privileged, Alan, that he's a part of the podcast, and his work's amazing. Apparently, he does bar mitzvahs, liquidation parties, championship parties. It does a lot of wheeling and dealing in terms of helping people with their events. He is brilliant. He makes people's nights very good. And that, once again, is Alex Beveridge, the sponsor of the podcast. There is his number there. If you would like to get in contact with Alex and you can't get a hold of him on his social media platforms, just contact the page, myself or JP, and we'll get you on to Alex. But yeah, Alex is a fantastic man, and he's got a great business. So I would definitely recommend speaking to Alex for any occasions that you might need to get a hold of. It's for birthdays, special birthdays, kids' parties, anything at all. Alex will sort you out. But obviously, Aaron, the kind of, I would say, the kind of talking point of the game, the starting of the game was obviously David Turnbull, the Bull, started the game, impressed against Bilbao. I think when they played against Bilbao, he impressed. They get the captaincy as well near the end of the game. I think you and JP did speak that he might start. I did say that he could start. Barry Barnett said on Wednesday that he thinks he's got a big season ahead of him, that he might potentially start the game. He is probably the only natural number 10 I think we've got, Aaron, in my opinion. You can play guys there, but I think he's maybe the only guy that can get the ball in the half turn and play it down the channels, and he's neat, he's tricky. I think, in my opinion, Aaron, I've always liked him. I just thought he was unfortunate. Guys like McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly, even Moy were just a bit better than him, just a bit more experienced. Maybe not O'Reilly, but just a lot better than him. But I think now Rodgers could be the key to making him. I know he did play under Ange before he got injured, but by the looks of it, he's given him a chance to prove himself to be a main starter.
We spoke about it on Friday night, myself and JP. My opinion was that David Turnbull, great technical, gifted player, but under Ange, he wasn't necessarily as athletic as the other guys, because Ange was always wanting us to kind of chase hard, where Turnbull isn't necessarily that kind of player. Under Rodgers, I says that could change. It could be a different kind of tactics that Rodgers wants to kind of technically gifted players to contribute a bit more. I was really impressed with him on Saturday. His 2 goals and his assist as well. Took them really well, penalty. So I was really impressed with him as well. My only worry would be that the type of football that if we were playing a Rangers Aberdeen or a European game was that if we've only got 3 players in the middle of that park, as he get the work rate and the work level to kind of chase these teams down, I think that he'll be absolutely fantastic against the majority of the league, which he proved the other day. But he's sometimes like a Rogic that is that technical player that's a luxury. So only time will tell what kind of player Brendan can get out of him. But as it stands just now, obviously all the signs are brilliant because during pre-season and then the game on Saturday, he's done fantastically well, and I've been really impressed.
Aye, I've always liked him, Alan, and I think he's just been unlucky that the guys who we were playing, we were winning games, we were winning trophies, and he was still playing his part. But I think as well, it's his last year's contract, I'm sure, so he's kind of playing for his future now, I would say, as well. So he's kind of got to put a stamp, I would say, early doors to try and maybe get a new deal. Because I think Celtic will need to look as well. If they want to give him a new deal, then they need to do it soon, because in January he'll be able to talk to clubs, and you kind of don't want to be in that situation where you maybe need to give him more money to stay, or you need to give him a longer contract, or you need to sit down and really figure out what's happening. But I'd like to think the way Celtic work now, I don't think we'll get to January and that will be I don't think that'll be the case, Aaron. I think the club will know where they stand with David in January. For me, I'm just reading between the lines, mate. I don't know if you've seen Celtic social media since Saturday. Don't know if I'm reading between the lines too much, mate, but there's been a lot of David Turnbull content. If it's GIFs, if it's articles, if it's photos, the angle, his goal, etc. Is there potential maybe a new contract on the horizon, or am I reading into it too much?
No, you could be spot on with that. I mentioned that on Friday as well. So last year's deal, I think even before that performance on Saturday, I'd say that a lot. You'll see where Brendan Rodgers places David Turnbull in his thoughts after the transfer window, because I could see if he doesn't want to sign a new deal, if they can't agree terms, I could see Celtic maybe moving him on. With his performances recently, I'd like him to sign a new deal, but I can't see another kind of Ryan Christie thing where there's only 6 months left of the deal. And then we get kind of pennies on the dollar for a player. So I think you'll find it a hell of a lot come the end of the transfer window. If he signed a new deal, if he's not, I could see he'll be moved on for a bit of cash.
I think that's obviously something I would say the club need to look at. If they're not going to give him a new deal, they then need to try and get something back. I think it was £3 million or so. So ideally, you don't really want to be letting a player go with his talent for really nothing, really. So I can agree on that, Alan. Then I think the next few weeks you'll see if he's playing more. But I just think that I try and no kind of jump the gun, but you kind of know these days with social media, when they keep posting things, you kind of go, right, there's something brewing here. And I'm just maybe reading between the lines too much, but it just seems to be that maybe a new deal is on the cards. But for me, I think Turnbull's a cracking player. I think he's definitely worth a new deal if that's the case. He is, in my opinion, he's only natural 10 we've got. If you sell him, then who do you play as number 10 if that's the case? Because by the looks of it, for the weekend's game, Kyogo was dropping into that position. He was dropping deep. It's the first I've really seen him doing that. Again, you can kind of see they were actually talking about it on the Super Scoreboard, which I think most people here are tuning into tonight. I can't remember if it was Gordon Duncan or Halliday. But they say that you can kind of see the tweaks that Celtic have already made with Rodgers. Kyogo was coming in, he was liking to play, and I think it was for O'Reilly's goal or Turnbull's goal. I think it's O'Reilly's goal, and the boys played through. It was fantastic. Was that O'Reilly's goal? Is that right?
Okay, Kyogo, no. It was Kyogo put the ball.
Put the ball through.
Kyogo put the ball through.
Aye. That's what I'm saying. But the boy put through from was him because he dropped deep, played the ball, and it's Gordon Duncan. I think it was him or Halliday, and he says you can kind of see that Celtic have worked on that training. But that's him, Hannah. I knew it was one of them said that. And the other team across the water, you can see they've not worked on nothing. Well, it's not worked, but you can see early signs that Rodgers is working on Kyogo's game. And for me, I liked what he done because it's then getting the team up again and it's getting more creativity, but maybe missed through guys like Jota not being here. But I don't know what you feel, Alan. If that's the way it's going to be, does that mean your wingers are going to get more up the park? Because if he's in my opinion, he's a number 9. He's not a 10. He's a striker, and that's it. But if he's dropping into the 10, sometimes does that mean Maeda and Abada are going to be playing higher up? But does that mean then your fullbacks are going to get isolated? I don't know if I'm thinking again too much, but I'm not wanting my fullbacks to get isolated because if it is Taylor and Ralston, especially European side, if that's what he's going to play, are they going to be good enough to kind of bridge that gap?
I think usually if you're number 9, your striker drops back a bit, you're usually relying on your kind of attack midfielders to overlap that. So whether that be O'Reilly, Turnbull, Hatate. So if that is the tactic for Kyogo or whoever's playing up there to kind of drop deeper, then you would usually see your overlap midfielders go forward to support your wingers. When you were mentioning there as well about Turnbull, see come September 3rd, who would your midfield 3 be? And that's where I know what mine would be, and Turnbull would be in it, and that's not a slight on David Turnbull or how he is, but in they kind of big games, I know there's 3 players at Celtic at the minute that I'd be trusting to get into big games, and that's where maybe David Turnbull sees himself kind of playing week in, week out somewhere. Maybe that's why he's not signed a contract, but it's just your opinion on it. Would you see in a big game away to Rangers, would you see David Turnbull in that midfield 3?
The midfield's stacked in it, so he's got a wealth of players to pick from. You've got Home, who's impressed so far. Is he going to be playing every week as well? So I know I think it all depends as well the state of play of Hatate. If Hatate stays, then I think he's probably going to play most weeks, especially in the big games. But again, I think I don't know what you feel, mate, but I think that Rodgers is going to be a man that if you're playing well, I think he'll play. But I think under Ange, I don't want to say he had his favourites, but you could have 2 or 3 or 4 bad games, 4 or 5 bad games, and he kind of might have stayed in the team. Because I know that Kyogo went 2 or 3 games without a goal, right? He was still playing well, but Jack and Marcus was in the bench. He still played Kyogo. O'Reilly went through a bad patch. He still played him. I know that was personal reasons, but that's something we understand now. But some guys have played in the team and not done well, but Ange stuck by him and kept him. But Hatate had 1 or 2 against Bilbao, he gave a ball away, against Wolves, bits and bobs, he wasn't great. And then he's said, no, Turnbull's got a chance. So do you think maybe that could be the way that it's going to be every week now, where normally under Ange, the team picked itself? But with Rodgers, do you think there could be every week, every second week, a wee spanner, are we changing the system? Are we changing the state of play in terms of who's playing? Because I think if you're on form under Rodgers and you're developing well, I think you may get a chance.
No, I think you're completely spot on. If I'm looking at the way it stands just now, I couldn't see Turnbull being dropped for next week's game. He's done too much. He's contributed a lot in that game, so I would be surprised if he was dropped for the next game. But I think you probably see a clearer picture, especially after the transfer window shut, who's Brendan Rodgers' kind of favoured 11. So they're still kind of adjusting to the tactics and the way, what's he saying now? They're still kind of adjusting the tactics and the way that Brendan wants the players to play. So I think if you get maybe this time next month, I think you'll see a kind of more solidified opinion of what Brendan Rodgers go to start the 11. There'll be a few players coming in, a few players coming out, and he'll get to work on some of the players with training sessions and that, and I think you'll see his preferred 11 within the next month or so. But at the minute, yeah, there's no reason that you can drop Turnbull. As I say, it wouldn't be in my, at the start of the season, it would have been in my preferred starting 11. But after a performance with 2 goals and an assist, he's made it hard for Brendan to kind of say you're no starting. So he's doing everything in his power to make sure that he's in the starting 11.
I would say I think Turnbull, like you say, he's got every right now to play next week as well. So again, Hatate won all week to obviously under Rodgers. By all accounts, I think Hatate and McGregor are probably the 2 best players in the midfield in terms of overall. I think in terms of the squad and Scotland especially. Hatate, I don't know exactly what Rodgers says about him, but I don't know if he's going to work harder or he's got a lot of ability. He's going to maybe do better. I don't know exactly the reason why he wasn't playing, but obviously Turnbull's impressed. But you know, social media, Alan, as soon as a guy is not playing, if it's due to injury, if it's due to personal reasons, if it's just due to loss of form, if it's just due to the manager wanting to play somebody else, Celtic Twitter goes mental. He's away now because he's not playing. He's not want to be here because he walks out the stadium with his face hitting him. He's leaving. They're human beings. They don't need to, as much as we are fans and we go and see them and want photos. Let's be fair, fans should be going out at the end of the game and maybe having a wee autograph here and there, a wee photo with the fans. I get that, but maybe the guy just wanted to get home and just couldn't be bothered. He's allowed to, he's a human being. He doesn't need to stand and it's up to him to stand in front of the fans. He should be. It's kind of comes part and parcel of the job. End of the game, thanks to the fans for coming, wee autograph, wee photo, but maybe the guy just couldn't be bothered. Maybe he just couldn't be bothered. It's just one of these things, but it's social media these days, mate. You know yourself, it's a ruthless place, mate. As soon as one guy's not happy or one guy does this or he's not playing, he's away. So there'll be a lot of rumours until probably puts a smile on his face, mate, until that happens. But I seen a comment for Jerry earlier on, I can't find it, but Jerry says he mentioned a guy he's not really rumoured, but a social media account put his name up. Sometimes a social media account can be reliable-ish. And they mentioned a left back called Archie Brown. I think he plays, is it Belgium, I think, a team in Belgium. He's a young guy, I think he's only 22. I'm not going to say the club. I know the club, but I'm not going to say it because that's JP's job to say the big names. That's not my job. I don't do that. But I think it's a team in Belgium. He's played a few games for them. Doesn't scream out to me, Alan, that you're going to try and progress in Europe with that type of signing. Again, I'd never seen him before, so I can't judge him. But just in terms of the team he plays for, in terms of maybe what it would cost, it doesn't seem to me progress in Europe. But I've been wrong before, mate, and I'll probably be wrong again. If there is a guy that we want, then we need to trust if that is the case. But again, it's no solidified links. We don't do rumours on here, mate. It's just a thing I've seen on social media. But I don't really know about the guy Archie Brown, mate. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or you know of him, but it doesn't seem to me better than Taylor or progress in Europe.
Yeah. It's first I've heard of that, but Belgian League isn't up to a great standard at present. I know the Belgian national team.
That's it there, Alan. That's the club there.
Oh,
Swiss Cup. Swiss Cup, no Belgium. Aye, Swiss Cup, sorry.
You've got to trust in the kind of recruitment team as well. As I say, said a couple of times in the last week or so, they've no steered this very wrong very often the last couple of years. So if this is somebody that they think they could, if it if it's more than a rumour, if this is somebody that they think they could come in and be better than Taylor and Bernaby, then they need to see, they need to trust in their opinion and their judgment. Point being as well, I don't know the kind of figures that are quoted for this guy, but we have spent significantly in that left back position because Taylor was just over 3 million, I think, and Bernaby was round 4 million as well. So if they're bringing somebody else in that they think that can replace Taylor or Bernaby, then you would think that they're probably going to spend a bit of cash on it as well. But as I say, a lot of these rumours don't kind of materialise a lot of times, but we can only kind of see what happens. But as we were speaking about before we come on live, I thought Taylor the last kind of 18 months has been absolutely fantastic, a revelation. But over pre-season and especially watching it, first half especially on Saturday, I thought he left a bit to be desired. Losing the ball quite frequently. Nothing, no major incidents mistakes, but I think if you come up against a higher calibre side, whether it be in Europe or the neighbours across the city, I think some of the kind of mistakes he was making on Saturday there, they might be kind of magnified. So maybe again, it's just get used to the tactics, but at present, Taylor's not looked up to scratch of what he was previously in the last 18 months. So I'd be looking at a position that's possibly a position that needs filled in the transfer market.
No, I agree, mate. I agree. And talking about missing parties, there he is, our very own JP. Evening, boys. Nice to see you two working hard in my absence. Miss your clock, Andy boy. Well, mate, you know, my situation with the clock, mate, it's at my parents, mate. The clock's not working, mate. So me and Alan are working hard on you, mate. You enjoy your wee weekend away, mate. Nice to see you still tuning in, mate. So enjoy yourself, mate. But no, for me, Alan, I think one thing I want to mention as well on the game itself. First half, didn't think we were great. We were okay, but I thought the first 10 to 15 minutes, Ross County were probably a better team. One or two things in the game for us to kind of progress. And I know sometimes you can't be gung-ho. I think we Ange, 9 times out of 10 every game we come out gung-ho, flying. And that can't happen every game because sometimes teams right away press you and these teams are back behind the wall and no every game is going to be like that. We expect it, but it's football and it doesn't always happen that way. But I did think fair play to Ross County, Alan. They tried to take the game to us in the first half and they were unlucky with 1 or 2 chances. But I don't know what you feel, mate, but I did think that they were a better team the first at least 10, 15 minutes. Like you say, with Joe Hart, the mistake, didn't do well. And then we'll obviously chat about the first goal. But I thought it did take a wee while to get us into the game, mate.
Aye. I was sitting there at half time, as I said to you before, we're 3-0 up, and I'm kind of a bit shell shocked. Like, this isn't necessarily a 3-0 game. So you always know we kind of Malky Mackay, Ross County, they're going to be extremely well drilled, well organised, and I think we mentioned Taylor there as well. If you've seen it as well, they were putting Jordan White for diagonal balls on like Greg Taylor. So they were targeting that kind of weakness quite a lot. But yeah, they were kind of a well organised side, and we didn't look as fluid and as fast paced as usual. But we still made a good number of chances in the first half. obviously scored 3 of them, including the penalty. But I think, as we spoke about at the start, there should be quite a bit of improvement with kind of the tactics and the way we want to play comes in going forward.
Because obviously, like a few of the commenters I mentioned yourself about Taylor and obviously Ralston, I know Johnson should be back defending, I think, this week or so. So he should be back for obviously the Kilmarnock game, hopefully in the Rangers game. With a mob across the water, I think Johnson will be fit for that. But in my opinion, I don't want to be critical too much because I won a game 4-2. But I feel sometimes you do need to pick on what you feel as a fan. Maybe we're too picky in certain things just to talk about something negative. I don't know. But for me, I know Ralston came back for an injury. I get that. But if he wasn't fit or anywhere near fitness or full fitness, I don't think he'd be playing. So I want to class it as too much as an excuse. Wee bit of leeway here and there. But overall, again, I'm watching these guys, so I try my best not to be too critical, but I just don't see Ralston personally being good enough anymore. I don't think he's been the best anyway. I think he is a backup right back, but I don't know how you feel, Alan. For me, Taylor, anybody who's listened to the podcast since we kind of started the podcast, that I've never been his biggest fan in terms of European side. I think the last few games of pre-season, he's been getting caught out. He's not looking strong. Is that because he's not doing inverted fullbacks? He's having to actually be a proper left-back defender. In my opinion, in Europe, a very half-decent winger, one-on-one with Taylor, I think he's past him. I think he's not as quick and mobile for us to progress in Europe. But last year, I know he was better last year, probably near player of the year. People are going to say, Ryan, why are you mentioning that he was near player of the year last year and now he's maybe not good enough? Because in my opinion, last year was done. You need to progress every year. And if you're just going to stay with Ralston, is it okay backup or Taylor is your main choice because they've done okay in the past? For me, Alan, I want to improve all the time. I'm not saying going to spend £10 million on a left back and then £2 million on a backup right back. That's obviously the manager, how he balances it out on the board and the recruitment staff. But if we're going to go into Europe, in my opinion, with Johnson injured and Ralston is your protocol for right back, Taylor, if he's not performing well, confident into Europe, in my opinion, I think the fullbacks need looked at as well. If STARFELT goes, you need to replace him. I very highly doubt we're going to sign 5 or 6 players again to the window, maybe 3 or 4 at a push. There's going to be positions that are going to take priority more than others. But if I was being greedy and I had my wish list, I would want. I think the STARFELT thing will take care of itself. I think obviously I'll chat to you about it in a minute, Alan, but I do feel that will be replaced. I think that's just a non-argument. I think that will be happening. I think RODGERS will get that sorted. But I think a right back and a left back, I know, like you've said, we've spent maybe £6 or £7 million. Taylor's, I think, okay for Europe. I think he's okay. Scotland. But for me, Alan, I want better Europe, and I think the fullback situations want to help Johnston and the rest to be maybe the left back.
Yeah. I'd be leaning towards and hoping that Taylor's only struggled to adjust with the change of tactics and the change of play. Ralston, I think in Scotland they'd be a decent squad player, but I'd be looking for somebody better to back up Alistair Johnston. The only problem being is that at the minute, Ryan, we've got quite the bloated squad. So we've got backup players for left back and right back, and unless we've got offers to move these guys on, then I can't see them kind of replacing squad players. So I can't. If Ralston is staying, Johnston's obviously your number 1 pick. I can't see bringing in another right back because we've obviously put Ralston on a relatively substantial contract. So I don't think the squad size at the minute we can afford to bring in 3 right backs and 3 left backs. So unless we move people on whether that be Ralston, Bernaby, whoever Brendan chooses that to be, then I can't see them bringing in another and spending that kind of cash to have a third choice right back or left back. I think it's needed, and it's just to see who would be going out the door. Johnston's obviously your number one choice. I'm extremely happy with how he's played and performed since he's come in. As I say, I'd still give Taylor a wee bit of time to see how he adjusts. But if that's not sorted within the next couple of weeks, then I'd be looking at if we can move one of either Taylor or Bernaby on and bringing in somebody else that the recruitment team. Whether you're mentioning kind of stuff out there, it said in that interview with Brendan Rodgers, he's basically admitted that he's away. But what was good there that he says that there's already kind of a replacement there. So if Starfelt moves in the next kind of 24, 48 hours, by the sounds of it, I would expect a replacement to be in before the weekend when it looks at. So this is obviously something that's been happening in the last kind of week or so. So hopefully they've already identified the replacement that they're looking for, and we can move on that without any hassle.
I think on the Starfelt situation, mate, obviously it's due to his missus probably leaving, and he wants to obviously be close at her. And Spain's obviously still going to a decent club. If it's by all accounts, maybe Celtic Vigo, still a big club in Spain. It's a decent club. Rafa Benitez, he's normally kind of known for his defensive side teams, and if he likes him, then he must be decent. I think Starfelt's decent. Him and Vickers have been very good partnership, but I do feel that Nerowski, or we'll call him Rocky, he looks the part in my opinion. I know we've only seen him 2 games, but he looks comfortable on the ball. He always plays the ball. What I like about him is he always plays the ball in front, so you don't need to step back, you don't need to adjust your body. You're on the ball right away, and that's going to help you going forward for the intensity and the high press game, because you can get the ball quick and move it forward. I think he looks the part. A lot of people have heard about the game, and a lot of other guys through the media, and they're all saying he's looking decent. I think only even Super Scoreboard, I don't know if it's Roger Hanna that said it. I think he says he likes to look him as well. He's heard good things about him at Celtic Park. So I think on the Starfelt situation, I think you've got a wee bit of leeway in terms of bringing somebody in within this week, because you've got Nerowski now. So you could play Vickers and Nerowski next week. And if it means Welsh or Kobayashi on the bench or Scales, you're not going to be too down for next weekend. But I think obviously for the next few weeks moving forward, it's an absolute necessity to replace Starfelt. But for me, Alan, I don't want us to replace him with £1 million signing or a project signing or a guy to develop. I think we've got to replace Starfelt with a Starfelt quality signing or better. If that means you need to spend £3 or £4 million to do it, like a Nerowski signing, then I think we need to do it, because I don't think we can rely on just Vickers and Nerowski, because I know he's impressing pre-season, but in my opinion, Liam Scales as yet has not done anywhere near enough for me to say that he deserves to play week in, week out for Celtic, and he's an able backup, especially. I'm only really talking about Europe here. I think in terms of Scotland, I think the team takes care of itself. I think for Europe, in my opinion, mate, we can't just rely on they 2 defenders, they 2 quality. I think you need better quality to back them up just in case. Welsh has proven he's not good enough for Europe, unfortunately for us, and Kobayashi just looks too lightweight, and I think he'll get, excuse my French, flung away like an empty track in Europe. So I do feel we need to improve in that situation. Don't you feel, mate? But I do feel it's got to be the same quality, if better, than Starfelt.
Aye. With Nerowski, obviously the first few minutes he made a bit of a bad pass towards Carter Vickers that we looked for a corner, but I think 85 minutes after that, he didn't put much effort wrong. And that's usually when you see a decent defender, when you've nothing to speak about the mistakes. I agree, as I spoke about with JP on Friday, Scales looks as if he's come on, kind of leaps and bounds, but at the moment, I don't think I trust him being in the starting 11 for kind of big games. can see him coming in and doing a decent job as a squad player. And I would definitely put him ahead of Welsh and Kobayashi in the pecking order at the minute. There's with the Starfelt replacement. There's been a few rumours kicking about. Nothing really shouting out, but people are saying about the Harry Souttar and Scott McKenna. Uh, I'm not entirely convinced with they two because I think they would cost a kind of substantial amount of money. There's a Dutch boy as well, who I can't remember it's like 1.8 million or something. Can't remember the name of the team. It's kind of a 6'5" kind of boy. I don't know if you've heard
What's that
heard
there?
about him, Frankie. Aye,
Aye.
that's your boy there. So I say I think there will be a replacement, but as I say, with Lorowski coming in, does look decent, so that does give us a bit of leeway with going forward that we can bed somebody else in, and hopefully we've got two new centre halves when Starfelt goes, Lorowski and another that kind of bed into the team well and bode well for the future.
I'm sure it's either Groningen or Voldem. I think he plays with.
It's a hold, aye.
It's one of the two. I think it's Voldem. I think that rings a bell to me. I think he's young as well, so I think we've looked up in the past. Through what Covell says, if we do sign Harry Souttar, at least what's that? I would like Harry Souttar. Vince McDowell says I like Harry Souttar. Yes, he's a do McKenna. On Scott McKenna for me, it's a backward step in my opinion. I know Roger. I'm sure it was Rodgers that wanted him when he was at Aberdeen when he was first here. I'm sure it was Rodgers or it was Lennon, one or two. But he was definitely rumoured to go to Celtic a while back. For me, from just my opinion, it's a non-starter. I know he done well at Nottingham Forest. I think he was near the player of the year, near about last season. He done quite well for them. Apparently, Nottingham Forest fans says, I said that today, they were all saying that he was decent for them in last year in the Championship as well the year before. But for me, is Scott McKenna going to improve Celtic? No, you're starting 11, no. I think he'd be a backup, but do you really want to spend £4, £5, £6 million for a backup? Probably no. So you want to sign somebody that's going to challenge. Harry Souttar, he's decent. I think he's a decent defender. Do I think he's somebody that we would go for potentially? Because obviously I think Rodgers bought him, did they know, for Leicester? So Rodgers knows about him. Again, like he says, Alan, it's a bit of money. So if Rodgers fancies him, then fair enough. We just need to trust who the guy is and we take him. But they two don't strike me, Alan, as guys to make my mouth water.
I think your staff, actually Scott McKenna's relatively a carbon copy of Starfelt. I'd say you've got Carter Vickers there that's the ball playing defender, but you've got Starfelt that's your old fashioned, kind of good at defending, that will do anything to get in the way of the ball and make sure he wins it. I would say Scott McKenna's kind of similar to that, so it's depending on the way that kind of Rodgers wants to go forward, in which style of centre half that he wants to have next to Carter Vickers. Personally, I think the two that's quoted, the McKenna and Souttar, I think they'd be far too much money for the kind of quality they would bring. I think Leicester paid 14 million for Harry Souttar after the World Cup in January. That's crazy money compared to the kind of player he is. So I would be relatively surprised if either Souttar or McKenna were arriving at Celtic Park soon. I think they'll probably go along the kind of transfer basis that we have in the past, even as close to kind of the Roloski thing. It'll be somewhere kind of Eastern European, I would say, maybe somewhere like that. So even if it is the Dutch boy, somewhere like that, but I can't see he's going to the English Premiership or the Championship and paying that kind of money for guys with, I'd say, the quality doesn't match the kind of price tag that they've got.
I actually watched the Leicester game yesterday and I seen their bench and they had Ndidi on the bench, Castagna on the bench, James Justin on the bench, and that's three guys. Well, two of them, Castagna and Justin Rogers, tried to get the last time. They're on the bench in Championship, and even signing guys like that, the quality of them, you'd need to spend a bit of money. I'm not sure if indeed he's the last year's contract, but there's a lot of players in the Championship that are worth a bit of money, and even for Celtic to try and buy them, it's crazy money. And obviously, back to the game as well, mate. Kyogo's goal, again, his movement was good. Abada done well as well during the game. I thought people saying Abada played well, but he wasn't the best. But if you kind of look at what he does in the game, his movement, I think for me, Abada's one of the first names on the team sheet. His stats are through the roof for a guy his age, and for what he's done so far in his career. He's not done much till he came to Celtic. I think his stats are brilliant, mate. I think he's got to play every week. In my opinion, right now, because obviously the boy Yang came through. He's looking decent, but we can't say too much yet until he's a run of games. But he's looking quick, looking nippy. He looks like he could be a player. The boy Home again. I think Home is very good. I think he's going to be a belter personally. I've been wrong in the past again, mate, but I think he looks good. But on the rest of the goals, also O'Reilly's goal again, brilliant goal. Turnbull in the act again. So overall, mate, I think the goals are good goals as well. But I thought O'Reilly's goal was the pass for Kyogo, brilliant and deep, and then O'Reilly finishing it off. And the way O'Reilly finished it, mate, it was just like effortless, but it was actually a very hard goal to score.
Aye. I know it was all decent goals, to be honest. I'd definitely have Abada. I think he's took a wee step up this game during pre-season and Saturday there. It's only really him and Maida at the minute that's kind of the wingers that you would say is definitely going to start. Haksabanovic kind of flatters to deceive at present. Yang's still kind of learning the game and just come in, so we'll see in time with him. Forrest, I think he's run his race at most of the time. Fair play to him, great servant. But I'm looking at the game, Ryan, on Saturday, and with that kind of low block that most of the Scottish teams play, I think we're missing that spark that kind of Jota maybe brought. And I think that's another position that we need to kind of bring somebody in that there'll be a lot of games that sit in that reach at kind of the hour mark, and we need that spark, somebody that can do something a bit different. Abada and Maida, really fast, really attacking, go at the fullbacks. You've looked at that player, could be young, but you've looked at that player that kind of gives you that wee bit of trickery, that wee bit of skill that can kind of beat a player and do something special. So I'd be hopeful that we bring somebody in the ilk, Jota, before the end of the transfer window, because I think that would help us immensely with kind of the better teams in our league, and if we want to do anything going forward in Europe, I think we need that kind of something with that wee bit, something special. So I think we've got really good players at present, but there's nobody that kind of your Jota, your Aidan McGeady that gets the fans, get the fans, then to their seats, standing up, shouting all the way. We need that somebody with something a wee bit special.
No, I totally agree, mate. I think we're missing. Maeda is improving. He is very good at what he does in terms of the way we play. Albeit, I do think we'll play a bit differently. I think we've seen already, you've probably seen yourself, mate, that it's a bit more possession-based. I spoke about it last week, you spoke about JP. That we will see a bit more possession, but it will be so aggressive and quick and attacking. But I think just overall, mate, I'm agreeing with you in terms of the Jota thing. I think, me personally, if we don't replace Jota with the same quality or that type of signing, I will be disappointed in the club personally. I've backed the club to the hilt with the board and the recruitment staff since they've kind of modernised the club with Ange. And if we don't replace somebody like him, then I will be disappointed. And I don't want to say it'll come back to haunt us, but you're kind of missing a winger then, because Maeda, Abada, Haskabanovic might be off for the sounds that we don't know yet. He was in the squad. Sometimes it might seem anonymous. I don't want to kind of jump the gun too much. It could be a reason why he could be in the squad. We'll see if he's in the squad at the weekend. If he's no, then you might start to think, right, what's going on behind the scenes, because I think he's got a lot of ability, the guy. I just don't know if it's laziness, if it's attitude. I don't know. Or maybe he's just no clicked. So I can mind, me and JP spoke to a Swedish journalist a while ago, and he says, I think it was him and Isaac from Newcastle years ago were two of the biggest prospects that came out of Sweden. And Hasebanovic has maybe not went to that height yet, but we'll see maybe in the next few weeks what goes on. I think there will be, like you said, I think there will be a lot of movement maybe in the next 10 days or so. There's no a lot left of the window. Maybe 2 weeks roughly now of the window left, 2.5 weeks. So I think within the next 10 days, mate, I think you will see things heating up. But overall, mate, at the weekend, what's your final thoughts? And if there's anything else, mate, fire away.
3 points to the board, top of the league. A few kind of mistakes that need to be ironed out, whether that be with the players or kind of on the training park. But positive start to the season. Looking good going forward. As I say, it'll probably get better with the likes of kind of incomings with signings coming in as well. Players adjusting, so really happy with how they've started. Probably say that I was more impressed with the second half of the Bilbao game and the Wolves game. That was probably because it's more free-flowing football where we're low playing against 10 men behind the ball most of the time. But as I say, 3 points on the board and on to the next one.
I just echo that, mate. I think it's 3 points start the season. Other teams are already playing catch up on you already, so it's good to get a victory. Obviously, next week's a different game, different type of game, different opposition. Obviously, Aberdeen are they've strengthened very well, so they'll want to get a victory as well from their side of the coin as well. But I'm the same as you, mate. Every game with Celtic, you take it step by step and you try not jump the gun too much. But I think there's no too many negatives, but there's some negatives to the performance. But I think the victory overall is the main thing. But anybody who's listened to the podcast or watched before, we have got a wee bit of merchandise line now, mugs and keyrings. These are the mugs, nice mugs. I've got them here actually. Nice mugs that we're actually selling now. If you want to get in contact with myself and JP or the page, if it is something of interest to you, there is the keyrings there, which I like the keyrings. The keyrings are £1.50 and the mugs are £5. It's on the banner on the stream below. If you want to get in contact with myself and JP or any pages, if you're interested in the merchandise, give us a wee shout and we'll get you sorted. But overall, Aaron, it's been a fantastic podcast, mate. Good to chat to you again. If anybody is just new to the podcast and you haven't subscribed to the podcast, please subscribe to the podcast. All you have to do is tick the wee red bell and you'll get notifications when we go live. If you don't know how to do it, just make a wee Google account and type in your details and you'll get a subscription for that. We're on Instagram, Twitter, any social media platform, Facebook. Myself and Alan on Twitter. Just get the page and myself and Alan on Twitter. And another thing as well, the mental health side as well. If anybody is feeling not themselves, if anybody wants a chat, myself, Alan, JP, anybody on the podcast, we'll have a wee chat with you if you are interested in just a chat and if it's football, mental health, anything at all. Don't hold it in. It's one of the biggest thing at the moment is mental health in football and in general in terms of men. If you are feeling like a wee chat, normally you don't really want to speak to strangers, but sometimes it is good to chat to strangers. So if anybody's feeling not their best, well, our DMs are always open, so get in touch. But again, Aaron, thanks for your time, mate. Hail, hail, and take care.
Thank you. Hail, hail. Take care, guys.
right, lads. Guten Tag.